The material of choice for this build is going to be some XPS foam. This is not the type of foam that you use in packaging material. This is the type of foam that they use in construction for insulation. And it can be picked up at any hardware store. And it comes in various thicknesses. The thickness I'm going to use is 1/2 inch, which is available at some hardware stores. If not, you can cut the width down with an X-Acto knife. The nice thing about gravestones is that there is no standard of size or thickness, so you can really make these however thick you want. But the piece that I'm going to be using is 1/2 inch. So now we have our foam picked out, the next thing is to figure out what scale we need. So I grabbed a Captain America as a 6-inch figure stand-in to figure out what size foam we need. So I put Captain America on the foam, and then we'll just size it up and see what size we want it to be. We can be as creative, it could be as big or as small. There really is no wrong answer. It's just what I feel like making right now. And I figure if you look at this, it's going to be roughly, say, 4 inches tall and about 2 inches wide. So 4 inches tall, 2 inches wide. And then maybe put a nice curve on the top, because a lot of gravestones have curves. So this traditional gravestone is basically a rectangle with a curve on top, and 4x2 seems to be the right dimensions. So what I'm going to use is this little medicine cup, which I use for mixing paints. And we're going to use this cup as a template to get the curve proper. So we need to make our stone roughly the width of the diameter of the cup, which measures out to 45 millimeters, which is just slightly less than 2 inches. We'll make our tombstones 45 millimeters wide. The first thing I'm going to do is measure out the width of the stone. And to do that, I'll just measure 45 millimeters in on the bottom, 45 millimeters on the top. And then just draw a line straight down the middle. Then I'll grab the cup and just use that to trace the outline of the top of the circle. And then we have the rough outline for our tombstone. Now, waste not, want not. I'm actually going to cut out 2 tombstones because it's quick and easy to do so. And also, you will notice throughout this process that some of my example footage shows one of the tombstones, one shows the other one. So I'm just making 2. So if it doesn't seem quite right, that's why, but the process is the same. And the goal of this video is to explain how to make tombstones in general, not how to make a specific tombstone. So I think that'll work out just fine. So I cut out the tombstone with a crafting knife. Make sure that blade is sharp. And at this point in time, if you are a young person, please do not use a knife without parental supervision. These are very sharp knives and they can cut really deeply, really quickly. So if you're not sure how to use this knife safely, please seek out an adult who will be probably more than glad to help you out. One of the tricks to cutting foam is to use a series of successive cuts with the blade, so you can get a nice smooth cut. So cut a little bit at a time, a few swipes, and it'll cut nice and clean. Once you're finished cutting it out, just smooth out some of the rough edges by carving with the knife until you end up with a nice smooth surface. And if you have to, hit it with a bit of sandpaper just to smooth out all the rough edges. Once our stone is cut out, then the next step is to give it some texture. If you notice that rocks, which most stones are made of, they're usually made out of marble or they're made out of granite, and so they're going to have a stone texture to them. And this styrofoam is very smooth, and we want to not have it smooth. We want it to look like rock. So one of the easiest ways to do this is to grab some tin foil and just scrunch it up into a ball, and then just use that tin foil and just press it into the styrofoam so that it develops that rough, stony texture. The reason why we use XPS foam over the other foam, one of the reasons is that this foam takes texture fairly well. So just press in the tinfoil to the styrofoam until you get a nice rough texture. Now I want to build an old tombstone, not a new tombstone, and those in my head, they typically have little cracks and divots and various damage from being out in a cemetery for tens, maybe even hundreds of years. So to do that, you take an X-Acto knife, again, very, very sharp, seek adult supervision, but use that just to carve in just little bits of crack into the foam. Just a little bit here, a little bit there. A little gets you a long way, so don't go crazy, but you can just do this and just put in some cracks. Now, at some point in time during this process, I decided to try to put in lettering using a Sharpie, simply just by drawing in the letters with a Sharpie pen, which actually works pretty well, except my handwriting is horrific. So you'll see some examples where I have RIP written in some of these. I don't recommend doing this unless you have really good handwriting. I am going to have a companion video that will show you how to put in good lettering in Photoshop. But for now, just know that that's why it says RIP in some of these example shots. So now that we got our stones textured and we got them cracked, then we need to paint them up because they look green in this case. Green is not a natural stone color, at least not this shade of green. So what we need to do is actually make them a good stone color. And one of the ways to do this is a method that I grabbed from Black Magic Craft, the amazing YouTube channel that got me started in all my crafting things. And I use his method pretty regularly, and it works out well for me. And that's basically building a base layer of black and then getting progressively lighter with paints until you get a stone effect. And the first layer that we use is a mixture of Mod Podge and black paint. Now, Mod Podge it's kind of like a glue with a little bit of like resin or something in it that makes it really hard. It's used a lot in scrapbooking. And that will give the foam some rigidity and some strength. And then we add in some black paint to have a black layer. The reason for that is that the green of the foam, we don't want that coming through any of our paint layers. So if we cover it all in black, we have a nice layer that covers all of the green, so we have a nice surface. And if we miss any spots with our paint, it looks black, which looks more like a shadow, than green, which looks completely unnatural. So the first thing we do is just cover the whole stone using a paintbrush and just some Mod Podge and black paint mixture, and then let it dry. And once it's dry, you're ready to go to the next step. Now, as you're painting, the paint will kind of glob and gloop up into all of the little crevices. So what you want to do typically is, once you have the base layer in, I dry off my brush and then just go back into those layers and just dab at it with the paintbrush so that it kind of picks up any excess paint, because we don't want that extra glob in there. We want to leave we want to put on as little paint as possible and cover everything. So we want to pick up any globs and gloops so everything is nicely evenly covered. So once the Mod Podge layer is dry, then it's simply a matter of just adding in progressively lighter shades of gray. I am using simple craft paints from these, which you can get at like any craft store or Walmart or on Amazon. It's anywhere you want, you can get them. They're the cheap, like 50 cent to $1 type bottles of paint. And I have a dark gray, a medium gray, and then kind of like an ivory linenish color as my brightest color. So I want to basically, we have black, but I want to cover it all in gray paint. So I take the darkest gray paint and I'll just cover up the entire tombstone again. Again, making sure that we don't leave any gloops or globs, and then just cover the whole stone in that gray paint and then let it dry. Sometimes it might take 2 coats to kind of get the proper coverage, at least it did for me. But just kind of cover the whole thing. Try to get into the cracks and crevices, but you don't have to really worry about being perfect, because anything that shows through will just show up as black shadow and not as gray. But try to be as consistent as possible. And then set that to dry. I use a hair dryer because it's quicker, or you can just let it air dry, and it takes about half an hour for this type of paint to dry. Now after that, we want to add some lighter shades to bring out the highlights of all the textures that we've added to this stone. And the way we do that is a technique called dry brushing. And dry brushing is literally taking a dry brush, Usually I use an old brush or like a chip brush that is not very fine and has a lot of rough edges to it. And then you just take your paint, in this case it's the medium gray paint, load up your brush with the paint, and then and a paper towel, take most of that paint off. So you don't want a lot of flow with the paint. You just want it to be like just the little dregs left. And then very lightly start brushing over the foam or brushing over the tombstone, and just let the very edge of the bristles catch the tops of the texture. That'll leave the dark paint only on the raised edges. So we just cover the whole stone in that basic look. We want to get about 50% of the medium gray covering the stone. So if you happen to goop it on a little bit at some places, don't worry about it too much, but just keep on rubbing it gently until it's about 50% covered, and leave that to dry. There's not a lot of paint there, so it's not going to take that long to dry. And then we'll just repeat the process with a lighter paint, this linen colored paint, which is basically just off-white, any kind of off-white. You don't want direct white, but any off-white will do. And just do the same thing, load up the brush, clean it off on a paper towel, and just lightly graze the texture of the stone, and just let the white paint just kind of kiss the top of the stone. And it just leaves a white highlight on the top. So we're building a layer where the deeper crevices have dark paint, and then we kind of work our way up the texture. So the top of the textures have the light, and as you go kind of deeper into the stone, it gets darker and darker. And that's pretty much it. At this point in time, you should have a perfectly serviceable stone that you can stick into a scene in front of your camera, add an appropriate figure, and then snap away, and you should have a perfect prop. If you look in nature for really old stones, they'll have years and years of grime and grit, and in the case of stones, moss that may live on this stone. By adding that colorizing to your piece, you can make it look really, really old. And one way we can do this is by adding what's called a wash. And a wash is basically just some sort of color that's really watered down, and it just kind of gives a hint of the color and not cover it like a paint. So I took one of my example tombstones that I've been building, and I started off by making a wash by taking some water and putting in some burnt sienna acrylic ink and some black acrylic ink, mixing all that up, and then covering the whole tombstone with this mixture. And what that does is it covers the tombstone, and it puts more color in the crevices and less color on the edges. And then if you pat off the washes with a paper towel, then you're left with even more of that effect, and that really kind of gives a grit and a grime, and puts a dirt in all the bits that would normally collect dirt on a stone. And then I ask myself, what would years and years of grime look like for this tombstone? I figure there'd be dirt and there would be some moss. So you can make your own washes like I have. You can also purchase washes from various craft stores. And so I used a Citadel Paints Agrax Earthshade to add a little bit more dirt to this piece. And I just looked at the stone and I said, where would dirt be? And I just took a brush and just applied a little bit of wash to those spots where I thought dirt would collect. And then I said, where would moss grow on this stone? And there's no right answers. It's just whatever I decide where it should be. This is my stone. This is my story. But I decided where the moss should be. I took a little bit of green wash and just applied it to the spots, and then dabbed off the excess with the paper towel and left it to dry. And as you can see, it left a really dramatic difference between what we started with and what we ended with. So that's it in a nutshell. That's how you make tombstones. It's only one way, but that's the way I use. So thank you for following along, and please look out for that Photoshop tutorial on how to get lettering onto your stones in Photoshop. And thank you very much for following along. Please hit subscribe, and I will see you next time.